Buff Nation, what's going on, Ben? All my bandwagon buffs, what's up? What's up? What's up? Make sure everything is good. What's going on, bandwagon buffs? What's up, Buff Nation? Welcome to TLP Sports Club. You are watching TLP live on Tuesday, guys. I appreciate you joining me today. This is the weekend. This is the week after the Colorado week win over the Texas Tech Red Raiders. A beautiful win, a win that I was a little bit nervous on because I'm thinking like, all right, Colorado needs to make sure that Colorado plays Colorado football. They come out, they're a little bit lethargic. They're a little bit, it's it was like almost cardiac, right? Because it was something that I prescribed. I was like, well, this is a scenario. What happens? We go up, we go down by 2 scores. What's going to happen? And that's almost like what happened. The first 3 possessions, they score. We go up 13-0, but Colorado doesn't flinch. That's the thing. So when I said on this channel that Colorado's defense is the most consistent, I meant it. And I saw it early. Colorado's defense from the very first game, North Dakota State. Colorado played very well. The defense showed up. Robert Livingston has earned his paycheck. I don't know how much they gave him, but he has earned every cent. And at this point, we're just hoping that he keeps that Colorado is able to keep him. We need to keep him. I'm totally I'm stoked that we were able to get a coordinator that was able to that pretty much hadn't been a coordinator before, but was able to make the adjustment to college just like that. So Colorado's defense has been the most consistent side of the ball this entire season, starting from game number 1. 3 more games and Colorado can see itself in that playoff, that Big 12 playoff picture. Now, the way that BYU is playing, BYU is the top team right now. They're still undefeated. There was a little bit of controversy on their last game with Utah, what they call the Holy War. It came down to the wire. I believe it was like a minute and some change left where I guess Utah gets a stop and the game is over. But the referees made a couple of questionable calls, and BYU was able to come back and actually win that game with a field goal. Now, in the second half of that game, though, BYU pretty much shut it down, and that because Utah was winning the very first half, they went up a couple of scores, but BYU was able to shut it down in the second half, come back. So the controversy is pretty much something like, well, the AD, the athletic director, comes out and he's like, listen, that game was stolen away from us. He just straight out said that game was stolen from us. It's the last video that I put out. I addressed that and a couple of things that a couple of gifts that Colorado got. But I don't know that you as an AD, you can just come out and say the game was stolen. Those are things that people talk about in the locker room. You talk about it with the coaching staff, or you talk about it, off camera. But the AD came on camera and was like, that game was stolen. And I said, wow. It was funny because one of the somebody made a video and was like, well, and then he said this. He said, we were happy. We as Utah, coming from the Pac-12, Utah was happy to be in the Big 12, but on Sunday night, he was not happy to be a member of the Big 12. So I'm like, wait a minute. So somebody made a video was like, Utah does not want to be in the Big 12 anymore. And I thought for a second that Utah did not want to be, was leaving the Big 12. A little bit naive of me thinking that. But yeah, but it's kind of weird, like that. In the video, if you get a chance to watch that video, in the video, I pretty much broke it down and I kind of gave my thoughts on it. because BYU is the last team standing. Utah is second to the bottom. I mean, I thought it was a business decision. Crazy or not, thinking about it. But I thought it's the preservation of the conference, because the conference is not that deep. The conference does not have very strong teams that equals to the Big Ten and the the SEC, the Southeastern Conference. So the way that they look at the Southeastern Conference, if you look at the rankings, the top 25, those guys have been beating up on each other, but they're not moving that much. They only move 1 or 2 spots, or maybe 2 or 3 spots, and that's it. So when they lose, they're like, if they're ranked and they lose, they keep their spot. Everybody else, it seems like if they lose, especially the Big 12, you drop like 5, 6 spots. Iowa State was ranked week number 10. They were undefeated. They got beat by Texas Tech week number 11. Colorado did not play. They dropped to number 17. And then after they took the loss to Kansas, Kansas gave them 45. They disappeared right away. So right now, I think it's about preservation of the Big 12. And if you're at the bottom of the Big 12, beating BYU, it doesn't look good for the Big 12. So I figured, the referees understood their assignment. I guess Houston did not understand their assignment. You can't beat BYU. Everybody else should just be like, yo, whoever plays BYU from here on out, just take the L. All right? Just take the L, because we need someone. Because we don't have another chance for us to be in the top 10 in the top 10 AP rankings, the top 25, right? So BYU is our only chance and our only hope to be in that top 10 slot. And because it has playoff implications, and like I said in the video, and I'm sorry for those of you who did see the video that I have to repeat some of this information, but I know a lot of y'all are not watching the videos because I haven't been putting out the video, so I get it, all right? But a lot of y'all are not clicking on the video, so I got to repeat some of this information. But yeah, but if you look at it, at the end of the day, Brett Yormark, he's like, yeah, so we're in the top 10. Let's just say the way that BYU is playing at the last couple of games, it looked like they are beatable, right? Because at the end of I think Utah pretty much beat them. If it's not that call, you take that call away and the game is over, Utah beat them. So they are beatable. Now, we don't know if they're going to win out. But if they win out, we got a team in the top 10. This is the scenario. Let's just say they're ranked top 10. They come out, they go to the playoffs, the championship, the Big 12 championship, and happen to lose to Colorado. If Colorado wins out, they happen to lose to Colorado. Colorado automatically makes the playoff for winning the Big 12 championship. So now you got BYU is 11-1, right? BYU is sitting there, and it's pretty much went undefeated regular season, right? So now what do? You send those guys out there to go make the argument and say, look, we have a team that is 11-1. You got is it 11-1? Is it 12 games and then the playoffs? Let me see. Is it 12 games and then the playoffs, or the playoffs counts as some of the games? All right. Oh, give me a second, guys. Let me send that link. X-Men, what's up with you? Phil, what's up with you? Harry B, get the link out. All right, here we go. Yeah, so if you look at it, they can make an argument and say, look at the SEC teams that you got on here. Look at the Big Ten teams that you got on here. All right, I believe that Oregon is still unbeaten. So you're not going to have a lot of unbeaten teams. I don't know if this is indicative of what's going on with NIL and the transfer portal. I have no idea. But for some odd reason, you know, it's just not looking like it used to look, where by this time, November, you would have a couple of unbeaten SEC teams, but now it's not really looking like that. So let's talk about that. A couple of things to talk about. Join TLP Live at gmail.com is the email for you to call in if you want to call into the show today. Join TLP Live at gmail.com. It is the email that you want to call in today. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to break down the game, talk about it a little bit, the good, bad, the ugly that Colorado faced in the game, what that means going forward, because we got 3 solid games to play. And it seems like the teams that we're supposed to be playing that were looking bad mid-season are starting to look good at the end of the season. They've gained their mojo. They got more confidence. I don't know why they're doing this to us. Let's talk about it. All right, let's go. DC, welcome back, my brother. How you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing fine. Of course, you know, I'm about to go visit my friend that's in the hospital, but I had to jump on when I had a moment because I missed me some TLP love, bro.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, people thought you was ducking. I was like, DC's not the ducking type. He just got some stuff going on, but I'm glad that you came back. You can clear that up for some folks.
Yeah, I ain't the ducking type. Hey, I'm going to tell you the pieces of the game I saw. Man, Colorado. But think about it. The things that I questioned at the beginning was the defensive coordinator, the linebacker, where they going to run the ball and all that stuff. They fixed it. They fixed that. And not only did – go ahead.
The issues you said, the early issues that you were pointing out have been fixed?
Yeah. That right there, I got to give it to them. They fixed it. They play – I mean, think about it. Don't they play complete games now?
No.
Well, they play complete. They mess up.
According to that last game, no.
They mess up. They mess up now. That's going to happen. But to me, they play. You're going to lose some plays. I mean, you've seen that with Georgia. You've seen it with Texas this year. You've seen it with Bama. You've seen it with Ohio State, who blew a game. You see that. But what I'm noticing is that they're a lot better. And that the biggest thing I see is Shadurin on the ground a lot.
Oh, yeah. No. They stepped it up. I think they made a couple of changes on that line. And and now the guys are playing with a lot more confidence. I think that's what is pretty much boiling down to. They've gotten confident and they're playing a lot better. But they're still making a lot of mistakes. And it's like they don't understand the beginning of we don't want to play from behind. You feel me? So you got to come out and you got to be ready to go. We can't take there's no downs. You can't take downs off. That's the only thing that's irking me. It's like, yo, we can't be a second half team the whole season because somebody's going to catch us. And Kansas looked like the team that might catch us. And we're going to talk more about that. Let me bring on Phil. Phil So Real, what up with you, man? Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you. How you doing today, brother?
Man, it's a wonderful day. Happy I could jump on a Tuesday. I actually took off today, so I was like, you know what? I ain't doing that. Let me get on here and talk some football with you guys. DC, it's good to see you. Good to hear you, man. Glad you're back. You know what I'm saying? Man. I know you had stuff going on, so I'm just ready to get this thing rolling.
So glad that DC's back, man. He has a few minutes, so hopefully, everything is okay with the friend that is going through some things. God will cover them in the blood. I want to share with y'all just real quick before we get deep into the conversation. Let me share with y'all the rankings right here. Now, let me ask y'all, while y'all are here, do y'all think that was a business decision, or do y'all think like the Big 12 has some reffing issues? The Utah versus BYU. Huh?
You're asking, was the fix in? Is that kind of what you're going at?
Was there a sacrificial lamb? Did Utah get sacrificed for the cause?
I'll put it to you like this. It is, while I don't think that is the case, I still think that it is more likely that it could be true than a lot of people want to believe. But I do think just overall this year, college football officiating has been kind of trash. So while it was a bad call and it could be fishy, it's kind of on brand for what we've seen this year with college football and officiating.
Yeah, and I threw out a scenario there. I don't know if y'all can corroborate my scenario if y'all think it's plausible, but Utah is sitting here at the bottom of the Big 12. This win means nothing to their program. They're not. It's not going to change nothing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the fan base might feel a little better, just like Colorado with the
Wait a
one.
minute. Those rivalry games do matter, though, Harry. I understand your overarching point,
For the
but to
fan
a
base,
fan
right?
base, for them to have as bad of a season as they're having, especially with based off of what they expected to be coming in,
Yeah, yeah.
that beating your biggest rivalry in some ways could had at least saved the season. So I think it does matter to their fan base.
You said could save the season?
And yeah, because at the very least you have something
How,
to hang
Sway?
your hat on.
How you
Because
how
at
you
least you
say?
I'm
Are
explaining
you
it because
talking
you
about
have
from a
something to hang
fan's
your hat on
perspective or from the statistical standpoint?
from the fans' perspective.
Oh yeah. No, I totally get it, and I totally understand it from a fan's perspective, because you
Gotcha.
want to make sure that you hold your fans down. But if I'm Brett Yomar and I'm making a decision, like I I'm going in there with, if the game is close, you know what time it is, right?
You said it, not me, Harry.
I'm just saying, it only makes sense. I feel like, thank God it's not Colorado in that situation. But if the game is close, I'm like, yo, come on now. Call a questionable penalty, 2 times. And
Yo,
then,
but Harry, but you saying something very important there that I don't even think you realize you saying. You're saying why even make it close? Like why put the refs in that situation where they have to make those calls? And I think that's one of the great things about what Colorado is doing this year is they're having the ability to beat teams late in the game to where you can't allow the referees to make a call that could screw you over. You look at the situation with Dion on the
exactly.
sideline where he got into it with the referee, talking about where they're blowing kisses at the fans or whatever. So you don't want to give the referees a situation where they can screw you over. And Colorado has done a great job of taking lead late in the game. My only pushback with them is just run the ball when you're up late. Don't try to put your foot on the gas and score two more touchdowns. At the end of the game, just get the game over with. Go into the locker room, be safe, be healthy, and
Well,
win out.
I think they're trying to do that, Phil, because they know if they don't make it into the Big 12, or if they don't win the Big 12, they're gonna have to show that because they're playing teams that don't have the greatest records. Uh, but I think the
5
thing,
points.
I mean, right, you got to get that. That's what I'm saying, is that from this point, they got to win out, and they got to win out well. I do think that was a bailout call with BYU, the same as that was a bailout call for Miami with the Virginia Tech game, where to me it looked clearly that that was a catch, but they ruled it for Miami to win, but then Miami turns around and loses. So it's just a lot of stuff going on, but Colorado has to do this, because think about this. They were 20, they won, and they won convincingly, but they didn't move up that high on the coaches poll.
hmm
So that's
they only
kind of
moved up
stuff.
three on the AP, right? It was
Yeah,
18.
yeah.
Now they are 18. We were thinking maybe 15.
Now I was thinking it was going to be 18, but see, the thing is, what they're telling you is, even with the college football the voting, they don't feel that at this point that the Big 12, it's obvious they don't feel the Big 12 is a great conference.
Well,
Right.
yep. That
That's
is,
basically what it's saying.
yeah. I mean, that one is obvious because if you look at the polls, all of the polls are really pretty much just showing Big Ten and SEC who are moving, the way that they should be moving. But when it comes to the Big 12, Iowa State disappeared. They only lost 2 games. They're 7-2.
Right.
But
So why did they drop
Disappeared.
out?
and
So why
Harry,
did they
think
drop
about it.
out?
You only have you got BYU, you got Colorado, and you got Kansas State. Those are the only
Yeah.
teams that are in the Big 12. They're in the top 25 in the AP and the coaches poll. So that's letting you know that just based off how everybody else is saying it, it's not a strong conference. Now that doesn't
Exactly.
mean that teams that can win the conference aren't good to great teams. That just means overall that conference isn't good. That's why you're only going to get one team out of the conference going into the playoffs. And to DC's point, that's why you need those style points to try to beat a team by, instead of 21, you beat them by 28 or you beat them by 31.
Yeah, but okay, so are they saying that Iowa State is a much better K-State is a much better team than Iowa State with the same record?
That's basically what they're saying if they're still ranked. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're 20.
Cut and dry.
But how do you go from 11? You go to 17 and then you drop all the way out? Is it because Kansas give them 45?
We need to look at Iowa State and who they beat this year, because like strength of schedule, strength of record, those things matter when you start looking at how far you want to drop somebody, or when it comes to the conversation of who's gonna make the last two spots in, who's gonna make the last two spots out.
So okay. Yeah, the only team that beat them when they were undefeated was Texas Tech, but they beat West Virginia, Baylor, and they beat Houston. They beat.
I think Iowa might have been ranked when they beat them, but other than that, Iowa's the only team that's ranked on their schedule that they beat.
But I mean, Colorado has not beat any ranked team this year.
You said it, not me, but yes.
What do you mean I said it? That's
okay. So
it's football, right?
Okay, but Harry, that is me admitting that 2 + 2 = 4. Yes, they have not, but guess what? I want to make sure you understand. You said it, not me. So when that does come to bite,
why are you saying that?
Because when it bites you in the behind, and I say it in the chat, come for me. I just want to make sure that you're gonna be my security blanket. I just want to know you got my back.
No, I'm just stating what it is. I'm not trying to throw any shade or nothing. I'm just saying what it is.
Will you have my back when I make the same argument later? That's all.
Well, yeah, of course, because
thank you.
But you know how
my
we
dog.
do here.
My dog.
Yeah.
You my dog, so that we can
just don't line me up like you always do. Like stop trying to line me up, okay? If you don't line me up, I got you. Because you know I can smell, my discernment can smell a lineup 1,000 miles away. So don't do it. You know,
I promise. I say all my questions are going to be in good faith moving forward.
All right. Okay. But look, they gave Arkansas State 52. I guess Arkansas State is trash. I don't know.
I mean, Arkansas State is a group of 5 conference. So,
right.
I mean, I don't know how good they're supposed to be.
If I'm being Mr. Bracket DC, let me tell me, should Iowa State at least be 25 or 24?
I think they should be 25, 24. I do, but them not being there tells me a lot, because we've seen how these things work over the years, and I'm gonna keep saying it. CU has to keep winning out, and you have to win convincingly. You got the ranking and moved up because you won convincingly. You also are being pulled by not so much people say it's because of promptness, not so much of that. It's because you have a Heisman candidate as well as Shedeur on there. That's helping you also with your visit because you have talent. That's part of what's helping Colorado is that you have more talent than the other teams, because you can't really even name up other than Rocco Beck from Iowa State. Who else can you name? You can't.
Well, but you see how poised Colorado was when we were down 13-0, right?
Yes.
And it's like they didn't even break a sweat. It's like, okay, all right, guys, we got to go to work now. And then all of a sudden they flipped the switch and it was like, boom. It kind of, I don't know, just help me out here, because somebody said in the comments on one of the videos, they said, thank you, Phil, for holding Harry down when he was over there about to have a cardiac arrest. Okay, should that confidence that they have and knowing that their defense is going to show up, and we know how the offense is, should we sit back and relax a little bit more? Because from a fan's perspective, I'm as nervous as they come.
No, Harry, you better not relax. You better. What I watched the Kansas QB do, the passes he threw and the runs he did, you better not relax. Not at all.
Real quick.
Not saying they're good, but
you might want to take the overlay off your head, because the to call in email is cutting your forehead off. Just pointing that out.
Oh,
but,
okay. Okay, let me just say it one more time and then I'll take it off. To call into the show, guys, join TLP live at gmail.com. Write it down if you are if you're thinking about calling in, maybe one of these shows, we got something exciting going on, you want to call in, just jot it down so you can call in one time, because most of the people that call into the show, they already have the email. Whenever they're ready, they just email me. But if you are new, you've never been on the show before, write it down. Join tlplive@gmail.com. Join tlplive@gmail.com. All right.
Can I say this real quick though, Harry, to answer Polly's question? Polly, the reason why Boise State is where they are is because they took Oregon, who was the number one team. They played them well. That's the only reason that they're where they are, is because they have a close loss to the top team at this point in the nation.
All right, Phil, you were saying?
So bring me back to your initial question. I was responding to something in the chat, so my train of thought got sidetracked.
Oh.
What was your initial question?
Well, I don't think we had a question. It was just kind of a discussion that we were having about the bracket and why certain people are where they are, especially Colorado having to win out and to stay ranked, because Iowa State dropped from 11 to 17 to all the way out.
So, okay, I got you. So I think just based off of what I'm hearing and based off of what I'm seeing and how the rankings are going, the only scenario that I see a 3-loss team making the playoffs is if it is a 3-loss SEC conference championship loser. So, for example, let's say Texas loses to Texas A&M and Tennessee loses to Georgia. That means you'll have about 5 teams in the SEC that have 2 losses. Whoever goes to the SEC championship game and loses, I think they can make it to the playoffs. Outside of that, there's no scenario, in my opinion, where Colorado can lose another game and still make the playoffs. I don't care about revenue. I don't care about finance. I don't care about ratings. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't see it too. I know some people try to like make that argument that, because of Coach Prime. I don't see it. As much as I love Coach Prime and because I'm a BWB and all that, I don't see any way, shape, or form that Colorado makes it losing another game. There's no way. And if they don't win the Big 12 championship, Shiloh probably not Shiloh, but Travis doesn't win the Heisman. So
yeah, if they lose another game, and depending on what happens with Cam Ward, it's very possible that Travis doesn't win. But I think just based off of Travis being Travis and him being so different, even with one loss, I still think he has a chance. But I think his best opportunity to win the Heisman is if they win out. And if I can, for just 15 seconds real quick, Shantae L pointed out, Sante L, I'm sorry if I'm saying it incorrect, we're saying, why would that come back to bite them, about their schedule? They didn't make the schedule. I understand the argument, they didn't make the schedule, but at the end of the day, the voters are going to look at who you played against compared who other people have played against that are like neck and neck with you. And if for whatever reason they feel like other teams have played tougher competition and have a better record against that, and Colorado hasn't shown themselves to beat the toughest competition on their schedule, they're gonna lean towards the team that has proven itself to beat tougher competition. So that's why it does matter.
All right, let me bring on CU fan. Peter Investor, what up with you? Who else says hello? I think it was Shirley. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, College Bound. Asante L. Polymyth. Good morning. CU fan. Good morning. Thank you for calling, and I appreciate you. How you doing today, brother?
Good morning, Harry. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, everybody.
¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está?
Good morning. Good morning.
¿Cómo estás?
Thank you.
Ya hablas español, ¿ah? Muy bien.
I can't even remember how to say a little. I'm doing Duolingo.
Oh,
So
pequeño.
No,
El Poco.
Don't mess it up. It's not. It's pequeño.
Pequeño.
Okay. I thought it was Poco. I don't know. Un poco or whatever. All right. So look, let's look at this SEC top 5 right now, right? that y'all tell me, okay, SEC top 5, or we going down to 6? How are we looking at it?
6.
We got to go down to
you gotta
6?
say 6. Yeah.
Okay, so SEC top 6. So there's a possibility that an SEC team gets into that national playoff with 3 losses?
Yes.
Lord
Yeah,
have mercy.
I laid out the scenario. The only scenario is if, listen to what I'm saying. Pay attention now.
Okay.
Georgia beats Tennessee. Tennessee now has 2 losses in the conference.
Okay.
Texas A&M beats Texas. Texas now has 2 losses in the conference. I cannot remember what was the other team that Texas A&M in the conference has to play, but they could lose another conference game, and now you have roughly 5 to 6 teams with 2 conference losses. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you have, let's say you have a rematch, Georgia versus Texas in the SEC championship game, and it goes down to the wire. Let's say Texas loses 35-31. They're not going to leave Texas out of the top 12 for the playoffs.
So, okay, question. BYU takes an L to Colorado in the playoffs, in the championship game. They're 11-1, right? Wait, let me ask you this. Is the championship game part of the regular season?
No.
Oh, so wait. So they can go 12-0, and that championship game would make them 13-0, right?
Literally.
Yes.
Okay. So let's say they go 12-0. They're sitting at 12-0, and we're looking at a Georgia Ole Miss at a 3-game loss. They would not get in over one of those teams.
If the team that has 3 losses is the conference championship loser, no, BYU will not get in over them.
So you mean, let's say Georgia doesn't make it to the conference championships, but they're sitting there with 3 losses.
No, that's not what I said. You're changing the scenario.
I'm asking. I'm not following totally.
So the answer is no. The only scenario where it happens, full stop, is if the conference championship loser has 3 losses. That's the only way it happens.
Oh, okay.
So you're saying an FSU situation?
Yes, absolutely. And here's the thing. Colorado, that's why they say Colorado Masters is on destiny. I think they can win out the rest of their games, and that would put them into the Big 12 championship, and they could win it. They absolutely can win out. They have the skill set.
BYU was not playing to their early season potential.
No, right, and because of Colorado has a few more athletes, I think that BYU has a solid team, but Colorado clearly has better athletes than anybody. As long as you got Shedeur back there, you have a chance. That's true.
Right. So, but this is going to be so okay. So this is where a whole lot of, because Big 12, even though it's not equal to the SEC, there had to be a lawsuit somewhere. A 12-0 team that loses in their conference gets left out for a Georgia that may have lost in their, or whatever team loses, and they got 3 losses on their schedule.
Well, that happened, but think about it. What happened last year to Florida State, and it is what it is because part of the issue was
it a 3-loss team?
No. They were undefeated and still got put out.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But I'm just saying this year having 12 teams, and you're gonna go for a runner-up in the SEC championship game that has 3 losses.
I'm just going to tell you right now, Colorado does not want to, if they don't win, let's say take a loss and don't get to the championship game, you do not want to have to go and make the committee decide between you and Texas A&M.
No. This is not a Colorado argument. This is a BYU argument. Colorado doesn't stand a chance.
I was going to say that with BYU. BYU, even losing 1, does not want to have to go against a Texas A&M at 3 losses. It's not going to happen. That's going to be hard.
Even in the championship game?
If they lose it, yeah.
Wow.
I'm just
Harry,
being honest
listen,
with you.
listen, strength of record, strength of schedule matters. So, for example, and I'll give it to BYU right now. Strength of record, BYU strength of record is number 2. I can't remember exactly what that represents. I can look it up and tell you. But as far as their strength of schedule, they're 54. So I can't see a situation where Texas A&M is 21, Ole Miss is 23, even the SMU is at a 7, South Carolina is at an 8. Is going to be able to get in over them. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Wow. I'm trying to. This is my first year all the way through this thing, and I'm trying to get an understanding of how this bracket stuff, how it works out. Especially this is our first year with 12 teams, and even with 12 teams, like you still gotta like piss off a fan base. Which team goes undefeated, just for the sake of the SEC bias. Wow.
But Harry, if the metrics or the analytics lay out a reasonable argument to say, hey, this team has played a tougher schedule and has a better record against a tougher schedule, why shouldn't they get in over a team that just so happens to go 12-1?
I'm gonna say this, Harry. If y'all look at the recruiting rankings from last year, you're gonna kind of see where the doggone rankings are somewhere in that. Because of the talent, and it's the perceived, I didn't say it was actual, it's the perceived talent level that they believe that the competition in the SEC and the Big Ten is greater than the competition in the Big 12. And to a certain degree, the top of the ACC is competitive, but then once you get past the third or fourth team, it's not good. Because you saw what Georgia did to Clemson. They just boil constricted them.
Hey, DC, you might be on to something, though. You might be on to something.
I'm just saying. I mean, again, Colorado is a good, solid team this year. Can't take that away. And just for the folks coming back on him, congratulations to that. Never a hater. I'm a butter. I got to see it to believe it. You proved it. You earned the respect that you have. But now you've stepped up to another level where you got to win convincingly, because, again, you don't want to have to go against a 10-3 Tennessee. You're talking about people they got stadiums, they got 110,000 people. So it's like this. Prime, when you look in the Big 12, you got the shine. Colorado is great. But when you start having to go against those teams that got 100,000 stadiums and already have eyeballs, now you playing against money. That's money against money. And you don't want to do that. That's why you need to dominate.
Well, and I think what it boils down to is, for Colorado, it is plain and simple. Every game that you play moving forward, you need to have one more point than the other team does. It's that simple. And they'll be all right. All this other stuff don't matter, because if they just have one more point than the other team that they're going against does, they're going to win the conference championship and they're going to be in the playoffs. Now, the interesting thing that you do need to look at is, let's say Colorado wins out, because I think it is more likely that they do win out than they don't. What happens if Boise State continues to win out, and at the end of the season, Boise State is ranked higher than Colorado? So what that means is Colorado will get the automatic bid into the playoffs because they're a conference champion, but they may not be a top 4 seed if they're not ranked higher than Boise State. So what does that mean? That means either, based off of where Colorado is ranked, either they will host a home game in the first round of the playoffs, or they could be an away team in the first round of the playoffs. But you could have a scenario where a Tennessee, or Ole Miss, maybe even a Bama has to go play at Folsom Field, or the reverse. So that could be very interesting as the season progresses.
I'm gonna say it right now. You don't want that. You want to draw. You want to draw Boise State. You want to draw something that'll get you in the picture. You do not want none of that. That's a hard one.
Hey y'all, I'm gonna shut up after this. I do have a serious question though. I don't listen to the games when they're on, because most of the time I'm on the live stream. Do the commentators talk about how well Colorado's fans travel? Because I know like Colorado has a good fan base. I know within the Colorado sphere, it seems like they travel, but like if there's a scenario where Colorado is a top 4 team and makes it to a bowl game, is Colorado going to be able to sell out all the tickets they have allotted for them for like 100,000 fan stadium situation?
So, yeah, well, I would say yes and yes, but this is a scenario also. Colorado is a stealer of teams' fans because when you go anywhere Shador, Shiloh, and Travis and them go, the opposing fan base has Colorado fans in there. So I don't know that we're taking Colorado people from Colorado to different states. I think that happens. Plus, their fan base is also Colorado fans. It's a weird dichotomy, but it's just.
I get the argument that you're making, but I'm just wondering, like, is Colorado a bigger draw for the television market, or is it a bigger draw for the stadiums, the city? You know what I'm saying? I'm just wondering because I honestly don't know. That's not me trying to say.
I will say this. Celebration Bowl never sold out. So I'm going to say that, but the TV for the Celebration Bowl was extremely high. So I'm going to say,
is that the same Colorado that we're talking about right now?
Well, no, what I'm saying is that a lot of people came to Colorado because of Prime. So what I'm saying is,
but can you compare the audiences? Didn't the audience grow after Colorado?
I would say the audience, definitely the TV market grew, but I don't think that you're going to, unless the game is in the South. Like for example, if CU played at the Cotton Bowl, that thing's gonna be packed. If they play in the Peach Bowl, the Chick-fil-A, it is the Peach Bowl. If they played in that, you're gonna have a lot of Colorado. But if you're playing in, I don't know, let's say the freaking Armed Forces Bowl or something like that, that's in freaking Boise or something like that, or El Paso, I don't think they'll travel that way.
You saying it has to be a more sexy bowl game for people to travel?
Yeah, I would have to say it in location. If it's in the Southeast region, but I mean that's a good question. Colorado does do a good job of selling out, but again, I would say on Nebraska always sells out. That was the biggest stadium they played in so far. So I don't know if you could really say that they travel that way.
That was mostly the Nebraska fans, right?
Yes, because they always sell out. Go ahead.
I got some quick pushback.
Hey, CU fan, make sure don't feel free to enter the conversation. You can be kind of quiet. We're having this general conversation right now.
Go ahead. I'm listening. You guys are making some great points. I mean, the only thing that I'd come in and talk about it is that Colorado will not be going to any kind of playoff bracket or I was listening to Joe Klatt, the way he was explaining to me. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but he was saying things that there's not going to be a team in the playoff bracket with a 9-3 record. It has to be a 10-2, and that's a maybe to get into the playoff bracket. There's no team that's going to be available to come in at 9-3.
Okay. Let's turn our attention to this bracket. What is the give for those of you who know the bracket and how it works? Give me the sweetheart scenario, the most likely scenario, and the if scenario. DC CU fan, if you know Phil, y'all can take either one. There's three things on the floor.
Real quick, can you define what you mean by that? I just want to make sure I answer it correctly because I've been into this, so I got a lot of emphasis. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Got it. So the sweetheart or the warm and fuzzy scenario is Colorado is, if you see that middle spot right there, how does Colorado get there? What is the likely scenario that Colorado gets a bye and is playing a Boise, or what is the how do the scenarios break down from good to worse? Basically, that's it. I just want to kind of give the fans like good to worse scenario for Colorado in this bracket. Does that make sense? Best scenario to the worst scenario.
Best scenario is Colorado wins out and they draw. I think if Miami wins, well, if depending on who wins, they probably would be the 4th seed, because I don't think that. I think bottom line, I think more than likely the Big 12 will be the 4th seed, not the 3rd seed. You see what I'm saying? And then you get that first round bye. I don't see a scenario where if they lose, they even touch the top 12. So I think if they win out, they will be the 4th seed, and then you're playing. But if you think about if you're the 4th seed, the way it looks like now, you're either playing a Boise or Ohio State. Those are winnable games. I don't see any scenario where CU is the 1st, 2nd, and 2nd seed at all.
Okay, so right now, if things were to work out, so Colorado could be playing. Who's that 4th right there? I don't know these logos.
That's SMU. SMU is in the ACC.
Okay, so right now,
and notice Miami ain't nowhere in there. They're basically saying if the ACC winner does not get in, then they are not going to be part of the college football, the CFP. And the same right here in the third with BYU.
No,
what's that?
No, DC. This is RJ Young's projections. So
what
that means is he thinks SMU is going to beat Miami in the
right. I get that. Yeah. Tracking, but what I'm saying is, even if that happened, you're still, let's say Miami won out. Miami would still be a 10-2 team, but not get in.
Wow,
okay, right.
There's actually a scenario where Miami does not make the playoffs, as good as they're playing right now.
I know. That's crazy, isn't it?
That is crazy, bro. Dang. Yo, I have not been this close to this thing ever. This is my first time being so close, and now my mind is just being blown. And I'm looking at scenarios where I'm like, okay, BYU may take an L. I don't know what's happening to their team. I have no idea.
I'm sorry. Can I jump in real quick about SMU?
Yes.
Real quick. I'm sorry. The reason why SMU is over Miami is because they are the higher ranked team in the conference. They do not have a loss in the conference. Clemson, Miami have one loss in the ACC. SMU does not. That is why SMU is number 4. Not because he thinks SMU is the better ranked team. It is simply because they are the higher ranked conference team right now in the ACC. I just wanted to add some levity to that.
So right now SMU is 8-1 overall. Do y'all feel like they can keep that up and not take another L?
I think the other L they might take would be in the ACC championship, because the ACC is kind of down too. I mean, think about it. Once you get past anybody out there in chat, tell me which team in the ACC that you think is better than Miami and SMU. I personally think Miami is the best team in the ACC, but some people could say it's Syracuse if they want to. You saw what Georgia Tech was able to do to Miami. So you get, even though they don't have the record, but that's what I'm saying is that's probably a conference that's evenly matched, just like the Big 12. So who do y'all think out there in the ACC is better than Miami? I think Miami is better than SMU, but I do see a scenario if they don't win out, they're not, because even if you look at the rankings, if they don't win out, they're not going to get in. The same way with if the Big 10, if the Big 12 didn't have an automatic qualifier, they would not be getting in.
Which is sad. I mean,
it is sad.
This is really sad, but okay. So right now, okay, we said that the SEC was top 6, right? What is the ACC? Top 3, or just top 2?
Yeah, I would say Miami. I'm sorry. Clemson does have a chance to get in. Yeah. I'm not sure about the tiebreaker scenario in the ACC, but Clemson does have a chance. Yes.
Am I missing something that Clemson is 7-2 and they are ranked over Miami?
We're focusing on the conference ranking. Don't look at overall. Right. Look at the conference record.
I'm looking at.
Don't look at overall.
Oh, the conference. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at. Yes, you're right. You're right.
So what that means is Clemson must own a tiebreaker over Miami. That means maybe you know what? Maybe that means Miami, if they lost to Georgia Tech, and Clemson beat Georgia Tech, they have a loss against a common opponent. So that's why Clemson has that tiebreaker.
Right. I'm gonna sit here and tell you, I've never seen it this wacky in all my years. This one right here is.
That's what I'm saying.
You gonna have.
What are we liking this to? Is this NIL? Is this transfer portal? What is this going on?
All the above. Because at the end of the day,
I've never seen this. Even in my casual fandom, I have never seen this. It's always been, those teams undefeated. We know they're going to be going there. Now it's like, what the heck is going on? What is this that I'm looking at? This is crazy.
It's a little bit of a lot. It's a little bit of a lot. You got the 12-team playoffs that make it look that way. Then you have the fact that conferences no longer have divisions anymore. So you have all these wonky tiebreaker scenarios. So, and then obviously NIL, transfer portal, things of that nature. So it's just a lot going on right now in college football. It makes it fun. It makes it hard to predict. But every Saturday,
does it get worse?
Obviously, I mean, there is a all hell break loose scenario. Sure, I just don't know if it's gonna happen.
Okay, so y'all didn't answer my question. ACC, are we looking at top 2, or are we going all the way down to 3 or 4?
3, because I think 2 and 3 are tied. So I'm gonna have to say top 3. The rest, no chance.
Okay, so the winner is an automatic bid, but you're saying that even the loser may be able to get in?
Well, I would sit here and say this as another thing. Colorado does not want to have to go up against Miami. They just don't.
Oh, man, that would be a fun match.
No, I'm saying the game. I would love to see that. I'm just saying is that
would
you
be
don't.
A fun, but why not though?
What I would love to see the game, but it is. Here's the thing: we talk about money, right? You don't want to get in that room and have the panel to make decisions like they had to make for Florida State last year. You don't want to. You don't want to give them any reason to sit back and have a case against you. Right now, you would.
No. Listen, any conversation we have about Colorado in the playoff is only winning out. There is no
cool.
There's no dream scenario where we get in, we lose, we take another L. That's not on the plate. That is not.
Okay, we can run the road.
I'm not even entertaining that. Not at all. Because it ain't going to happen.
But here, to answer your question, the only way, there is no way, there is no path for an ACC loser to get into the playoffs. It's not happening.
Then we're not looking at top 3. Then we're looking at top 2 only.
But there are 3 teams that have a chance to go into the conference championship and win. Is the point? Clemson still has a chance. Miami still has a chance. SMU still has a chance. Louisville. Right. I mean,
no.
Sure, but it would take more chaos. So we're trying to use the most logical answers. So it will be the top 3 teams that have a realistic chance to go into the conference championship and winning. But they will be the only team that will be able to make it from the ACC just based off of the polling.
So basically, college football is made up of 2 conferences.
Well, that's what people so here's the thing is Phil and I have been being Bama fans and seeing it, but also now CU fans, and I'm a fan of, so folks can't get this straight since I've been gone. I am a fan of CU now because they changed some things. I like what I'm seeing. All right, let's go ahead.
Winning,
because they're doing.
I like them winning. I don't like them losing.
Oh no, I wouldn't mind if they even if they lost. It's just that they changed some things. That was always my concern with they change it, but they did.
What did they change? What did they change? They got you all wiggly.
They ran the ball and they called great defensive schemes. I like that. And Prime had made.
You just gonna sit here and let DC say they ran the ball? Okay.
Yeah, and wait.
Can I say
they run it more? Yes.
Okay. So first of all, there is no run game.
I was waiting for you to step in there.
Hold on, CU fan. Let me correct it. Nowhere did I say they have a running game. Okay. Nowhere did I say that at all. I just said they're running the ball, which they are not. Is it great running? No, it's not great running, but it's enough running to keep the defense honest.
What? I don't know
about keeping it honest. I'm not going to agree with you on that.
Right? Can we give you that? I don't know. I don't even know if we can give you that because bruh, how many snaps did we get on running? We got 50 yards, 60 yards on Saturday.
Yeah, but the thing is,
you consider that running?
I'm saying with that, if I know you can run it, then I'm not going to pin my ears completely back like UCLA did. So that does give you enough. And if you're playing against inferior talent, that helps you. Will that work against, like, let's say, Georgia or Texas or Alabama? No, it will not work at all if you go in there and sporadically run the way you do. You're going to get your behind whooped because you're going to be dealing with a different type of athletes. But they run enough for the competition that they're playing to keep the defense honest.
Wait. What is this blasphemy what we got in the chat? Humble Yourself says CU was good last year. They just got cheated bad. What?
That's a troll account. Don't pay no attention to it. It's got to be.
What are you talking about? How bad? How much do they have to cheat you to lose 8 games? Like, that's a lot of cheating. Man, and to lose 6 straight, they had to, like, all the calls had to go against you. But anyway, that's not what I just had to talk about that. I was like, man, I don't know, you got to be a Deion fan. There's no way you're talking about they lost because they got cheated.
And let me make sure I correct this. No, I'm not on the bandwagon. I'm basically on the side yelling at you, go Buffs. I'm not on the bandwagon. It's just that they're playing a good football. And I'm all about, if you're playing decent, average, or above football, then I can be a fan of you. Like SMU. I'll never be a fan of Auburn, but at the end of the day, I like to see good football. But I was
daughter go to Auburn?
Man, stop reminding me. Stop, and they ain't gonna have me come up there. That's what that's why I went on the game, spend some time with her in Auburn while they were playing Vandy on game day. I just want to say this, folks. A SEC town on game day against another SEC team is horrible on traffic. I couldn't even get to my daughter's room. They said, no, you got to park here. I was like, I will drive this thing and go 4x4 on y'all to get to my daughter. But anyway, that game. But no, CU is playing good. I just think that for the talent now, when you start getting into the Texas and the Georgias and stuff, that's on a different level. And we saw what happened to TCU. I think Colorado is better than TCU was, but man, that's a whole different level.
I owe y'all one. I'm telling y'all, Colorado is going to surprise one of y'all world beaters. It's coming this year. I had no idea it would come this year. I was settled with. I'm still 8-4 because I don't believe like a lot of y'all believe. I'm still 8-4. Let me tell y'all why I'm 8-4. Then we can get into this game. I want somebody to tell me otherwise. Look at this. Kansas is playing good football right now. Okay, I'm not 100% there. Colorado has to win out, right? And I'm going to use this one because they're haters. Colorado has to win out. Right now, Kansas is playing good football. Right? Oklahoma, maybe that's the last team that we'll be like, okay, you know, they hung it up already. They hung up their cleats. They're preparing for next year. I think at this point they're playing their third string to see what they got on their roster. Those who are going to come back or who may come back. Utah almost beat BYU, or they beat them. Let's just say Utah beat BYU. So how is Utah and Kansas, what are we looking at as Colorado fans? Because I'm a nervous fan. Y'all, look, I would be throwing things at my TV. My palms be sweaty. Y'all just happen to just catch me doing that on live because I do it live. But I'm just a nervous dude. My team is not ahead 3 touchdowns. So how confident are y'all with Utah and Kansas? I'm not that confident, y'all. Can somebody help me out, please? What do y'all see that I need to see to get to where y'all at in your level of confidence?
Hey, Harry, let me answer the question, but I want to say this before then because I was trying to finish what I was trying to say on the previous question um, or the comment. um, so on the perspective of the coaching staff, um, I want to apologize to what I said last week. Last week I was bashing the coaching staff, but this week against Texas Tech, watching the well-off media, what I saw with the coaching staff was a whole different level than what I had seen before, and I respect that because of what they were doing and what they were saying and how they were engaging and doing what they needed to do to fix few things. The well off media, if you guys haven't seen it, that is some good stuff from Texas Tech. I was amazed with that. So I'll retract what I said last week about the coaching staff.
We were trying to talk you off the ledge. It's okay. Even Phil had to help me off the ledge too. So it's all good, man. We got you.
Well, I just wanted to make that clear because I know I said a few things.
We know. I know. Again, I'm always going to count it to your love for the team. It's never going to be malicious. I don't think I ever counted towards it being malicious. Even when DC go all the way out and say some stuff, I never think it's malicious. I'm always thinking because I already know you guys how you think about this team and how you think about Coach Prime. I'm never going to say, oh, it's malicious. Some people like Son of Yahweh say, if I'm nervous, then I'm not a real fan. Like, is that a thing?
Hey, Harry, I'm gonna say to you is that I agree. The Kansas bit I watched some of the throws that the QB was making. I mean, folks, I'm gonna sit in the way he can run that ball. That's the kind of thing I'm sitting here saying is that Kansas went out, of course, but on the other end, I am seeing some stuff like you said it coming onto the show. It's like these teams look like they still got fight left in them.
Yeah.
And they do.
And it seems like they got their confidence and their mojo at the end of the season, and they're trying to play for their fan base at this point. They already know they're out of contention for everything else, but they're just trying to let their fan base know, hey, look, you're here for us, we're here for you too. So they're not laying down for nobody Cinderella story. So
well, think of it like this.
Isn't it right to be nervous? Don't fans get nervous? What kind of belief you got? Like,
look, is it okay to be nervous? Yes, absolutely. Because in one form of way, I am nervous as well because of the fact that the term could be used a wounded dog that's cornered. You know, that's the worst scenario for a wounded dog to be cornered because they'll fight back, and then that's where we think, oh, he's hurt. They're hurt. They're okay. You know, we'll beat him down. We'll finish him off, and then they fight back and they come back and beat us. That's the point where I'm nervous about is that a lot of these teams think, people think that they're done, but as you can see, some of them are not done. And I think if we go in there like it's, oh, we're gonna beat them, that's gonna mess us up.
No, because Kansas gave Iowa State. Iowa State hasn't hung it up. Iowa State was just ranked number 11 in the AP poll just 2 games ago, two weekends ago. So they didn't hang up their cleats and say, oh, Lord, Texas Tech beat us, so we're done for the season. You know what? Let's just go. No. Kansas gave them 45. Why did Kansas give Iowa State 45? Can y'all help me out? Why?
I'll tell you why. Because just like I was saying, that some of the throws outside the QB making were throws that Shedeur be making. The way he was able to run, y'all know a running quarterback. We saw that
hurt us.
And that dude,
even Texas Tech was about to hurt us.
Yeah, so that's the thing. But notice this: I only brought up Kansas is because you're at Kansas, and that's going to be an electric game because everybody and their mama going to be. Go ahead.
I just want to give a little bit of extra information on the Kansas game. That Kansas game is going to be played at Arrowhead Stadium because Kansas is renovating their stadium on campus. So the ruckus environment that you would normally have at a Kansas game, you're not going to have because it's going to be at an NFL stadium. Like, it will be interesting to see if they're able to sell it out, because that will tell you how much of a draw Colorado is. But as far as that game being difficult just because it's an away game, it ain't gonna hit the same because it's in the NFL stadium.
Okay, so we're taking that. What's up, surfer boy? So we're taking that element away. Is that what you're saying? I can relax on that part of it.
I won't say you can't fully relax, but because Phil can say that.
To me, it's going to be more of a neutral site game. To me, it's going to be more of a neutral site game than you know what I'm saying, like an actual home game for Kansas.
So
Phil,
now, I don't know.
Like, hold on one second, Phil. I need you to lay off the muscle relaxers. Okay.
I need you.
I need to know. Look, I need to know. I guess I'm going to have to do a lot of studying for Friday's show, because we're going to have to dig into Kansas. I don't know why they gave Iowa State 45. I have no idea. They kind of relaxed.
But you can't look ahead to Kansas. You got to focus on Utah still, though, right?
We do got to focus on Utah, but I'm more afraid of Kansas now. I'm not afraid of Kansas, but I'm more concerned with Kansas now, because remember, Kansas and Utah was supposed to win the Big 12, but something happened that fell off. And according to some of the pundits, they say that Utah is so weak this year that Colorado should be able to win easily. It don't seem that way, but I don't know why they're saying that. And when I don't know, I'm a little nervous as to why.
So everybody said all these people that said Utah is going to be this great team and whatnot, and now they got it all wrong, and now they're saying that we should be able to beat Utah so easily. I wouldn't say we should be able to beat them easily. I say we should be able to beat them, but I wouldn't say easily. The perspective of it is that any team can come out and play and win. Look at what happened to Kansas and Iowa State. To me, I would not give them a chance. Look at what happened to us in the fourth quarter last week. We started letting off their throat, and they started coming back. We're giving them stuff, and if we do that against any team, they're going to beat us. Especially.
So then let me ask this question: is it better for us to play from behind and wait at the end? Because do we get lackadaisical when we're up 2 scores? Because I felt like it was real messy. The fourth quarter was not a controlled game.
They don't get lackadaisical. They try to blow people out instead of just running the ball and get into the locker room. That's the problem. They try to do style points because they know they need it.
But here's the thing I will tell you as far as Kansas, while Kansas was able to do what they had. So time of possession against Iowa State, Kansas 35 minutes to 24. Also, if you look at some of the games where CU struggles, is because the turnover bug hits them. The other thing that Kansas was able to do on Iowa State, again, this was a team that was up there. They were able to rush for 237 yards and pass for 295 yards. I don't think they really have done that, pretty much all year. So you have to look at that aspect of, we've always said, think about this. Kansas State really, and you're going to see it when I mention this, Kansas State looks just like Kansas. And the interesting thing is Kansas took Kansas State down to the wire. But Kansas State was also able to run the ball down Colorado's. They were able to run the ball from Colorado and eat up a lot of clock. So that's what you don't want. I think the defense was showing up. But when Kansas has 532 yards in one game, 25 first downs, that means they're moving the ball.
But I got a question, though. Just based off of the things we know on how to beat Colorado, you got to be able to run the ball on offense, and you got to be able to get the Shador on defense. Mm-hmm. Who left on your schedule can do that consistently on both sides of the ball?
Good question.
And I think whoever that is, because I will be honest, I don't know the answer to that question.
I would say Utah.
Whatever the answer is, that would be the team that would give me the most concern.
Utah can get to them. Utah just can't score on them. That's the issue with Utah. The issue with Utah this year
they
was
don't have to score sometimes. They just need to be able to run the ball and keep that time of possession. They maybe okay. Let me rephrase it. They do need to score, but sometimes 3 points is better than just punting the ball. So like that does matter.
Right, I agree. But the reason why Utah was expected to be good because they had the defense, but they were also supposed to have the offense. When they lost a 17-year senior, I'm messing with y'all. And Cam Rising,
he's still younger than Shiloh. I mean,
I know.
He's still younger than Shiloh.
When
Tim, that's DC. He said he came back just to say Roll Tide.
Well, he had it because we went into doggone Baton Rouge and just good. Well, see, that's the thing. We saw. That's a perfect example of it was raining, and so Milroe's strength is not necessarily his passing. And you saw that game here. Milroe just dang near ran all over to beat LSU in that stadium.
That was
like that.
Though. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, either LSU did not show up, or they thought that they either underestimated Bama, or Bama was just. What did they figure out?
The Bama defense showed up. That's what happened.
Okay, maybe they'll be taking breaks. So when I decided to like pay attention and watch them, then there's some trash. But then when I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna casually check in every now and then they're like blowing teams away. I'm like, okay, should I leave y'all alone? What y'all want from me? Like, I'm trying to help y'all out here. But anyway, the question, I think Utah is probably the most dangerous hurt dog that we got on this schedule. Kansas is almost like us. So if we just play our game, then we'll be fine with both teams. But I think Utah is the most dangerous team. Whittingham is a quiet genius. He's not so quiet, but he's a genius, right? So you can never count him out. So that's why I'm like, I'm not going to relax as people just say, oh, Colorado just got to win out and we're going to win out. I wish it was that easy. I really do. I really wish it was that easy because the stuff that you know about each team, it hasn't really changed much. They didn't lose nobody midseason, right? Nobody got hurt like that, right? Their quarterback, right? I guess who lost their quarterback? Was it Utah or OSU?
Utah, and they wound up putting in a freshman QB.
Oh, right. So, but they can. I think he's what DC usually talks about is a serviceable quarterback. He just needs to make sure that he does what he can do to just keep the game close. And Utah is a well-coached team. And whenever you're meeting a well-coached team versus our team that's still coming up, that puts a little bit of fear in me. Because as you can tell in the fourth quarter, I didn't know what was going on. Did y'all? Did y'all understand what the game plan was after the fourth quarter? Like with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, I had no idea. I didn't know what
try to blow people out. Just run the ball.
Like, hold on for dear life.
Get the game over with, man. Just get the game over with. I don't understand it. That is the last thing that I need to see Deion change for me to actually have more confidence in him.
But
that just doesn't make any sense.
Those are the things that we've been talking about. The consistency of like, hey, where's the run game? Why can't you just run the ball and finish the game? It has to be
straight down the middle all the time.
The perspective of it is people know the tendencies. We as fans are looking at the tendencies that the Colorado does. You don't think the coaching staff is looking at that? They're looking at a way that we're probably not looking at it. And that's what scares me is like the fact that these teams know this and they can beat us. Just because they're wounded doesn't mean they can't beat us.
Right.
And do I think that we're going to win these games? Yes, I think we're going to win these games. But that does not make me confident that we're going to win these games, like a big win. I don't want to be in a shootout, and I don't want to be playing from behind, because when we play from behind, we completely forget about the run and we just throw the ball, and I really don't like that.
Well, do you agree with Son of Yahweh that it wasn't a good night to run?
Well, I would say that it was at that point. I mean, when you got people throwing, I mean, even Wild Dog said playing in Lubbock was an interesting thing. When you got tortillas being thrown on the field and now bottles and everything. That fourth quarter got nasty because that's a crazy place to play. But I would say this also, and I'm curious to what you guys think. Now that Colorado's in striking distance, and it kind of goes along with what Phil is saying, how much do you start conserving your players? Because if you're gonna get into I mean, well, because the thing is, when you can win once you get into, I mean, I'm not saying how much I'm just saying you need to totally, because when you get into, think about this, you're playing teams that are mid to not good. Then you're going to win a championship game, which is going to be a good one, and then you're going to get into a point where you done stepped up into the big leagues. So how much do you keep people on the field? Phil has a point. It's that why would you not start rotating? I mean, they are playing more people, but how conservative do you start playing if you feel you're about to go into the playoffs? And is Colorado built to go deep into the playoffs?
Well, okay, so if you saw in the last game, Jimmy Horn didn't replay it because I believe he got hit by a bottle or something like that, from my understanding, and he didn't even play that much.
I don't think it's a bottle. I think it was a human being that hit him. I think he got hurt in that game. He got hurt returning a ball, returning a kickoff.
Okay, but what I'm saying, I guess my point is, they're already pulling back players. It's like, hey, you're not playing because we have concerns for you. So they will be conservative if even there is. Look at what happened to Travis. Travis, all right, go play. Oh, you're still hurt. Get out. So I think that there is some perspective of like we are going to hold back players from playing.
All right, so let's break down this game. Some things that we saw in this game that we didn't like, because obviously they came out flat. The very first half, I mean the very first quarter, they came out flat. I don't know that you want Kansas or Utah to jump up 13 on you. It might be a different outcome because those teams, they're well coached. Not that what's the name? Texas Tech was not well coached, but I feel like you don't want to keep playing behind because one of these teams you may not have enough to come back from, and they may be able to hold on. So let's see what PFF have on the grades, and then we'll talk about
it. Colorado beating Texas Tech 41-27. I bet most of the almost 500 people in the chat right now are waiting for us to get to this game. So we'll talk about this game now.
Before we do that, let me send this up to the screen so I can show y'all. It's just some stats that just came up. I want to get y'all opinion on here. See if this means anything. Y'all let me know. All right, so right here's the stat right here that just came up on my screen. Colorado and Colorado State are a combined 10-0 ATS versus conference opponents this season. They are the only two teams in college football who have covered every single one of their conference games.
Do you know what that means?
The ATS?
Yeah, do you know what ATS means?
No, what does that mean?
Against the spread. So if that means Colorado is going to win by 5 points, that means they always win by 5 points.
So this is on betting lines.
Correct.
Okay, so if you are a bettor, it's best for you to pick Colorado to cover.
Correct.
Okay. All right, let's go to PFF. So for anybody out there that's a bettor, you're welcome. If that helps you out at all. I'm not a bettor, so all right, here we go.
Colorado beating Texas Tech by 14. Let's go over the highest graded players, starting off with the victorious.
Before we get into this, do y'all feel like that score should have been a little higher for Colorado?
I mean, I was fine with where it was. I just didn't like the way they ended the game without just go ahead and running it out. I think that was my biggest issue. I think you can still have a dominant win even if it's only by 7 points or 10 points.
Do you consider that a dominant win?
I consider it a dominant win yesterday. I think after Texas Tech scored those 13 points, was it ever in doubt who was the better team?
No. I think from the jump, I said Colorado was the better team. They just had to get their mojo. They just had to get up and going.
And yet, Harry, you can't answer my question when we're saying the same thing.
I thought I was answering your question. You said, "Are they the better team?" I said, "I thought they were the better team."
Was it ever? I say after Texas Tech scored those 13 points, was it ever in doubt who the better team was?
I think Colorado was the better team before they scored. Even with the score, Colorado was still the better team. From the jump, I knew Colorado was the better team overall. I felt like they were a little sluggish just coming from, just relaxing a little bit. Because when you're not at game speed and you're practicing, I know they try to practice game speed, but you don't know their speed and you haven't played them. So the game speed has to be against how they're running, right? Is not how game speed works? Game speed is how fast they're going against you, right? It's not how fast you're going. You already know how fast you are as a team.
Right. It's whatever's going on in real time.
Exactly. So I felt like Colorado was the better team on the field. They just got smacked and they just needed to wake up. But that's going to happen. So that's why I didn't really panic like CU fan. All right, let's
Buffalo.
Wait.
That is.
I was not panicking.
We were both panicking, but you was like, if they score one more time, it's over.
I was saying if they don't fix what their problem was, and the biggest point was their offense was getting trashed. The offense went for 3 series, I believe. They had nothing.
That's true.
So to me, that was a big concern of mine. Is like, is this going to continue? What is happening?
Yeah. So I mean, they had no answers. We're going 3 and outs, and it was just like, okay, the defense is starting to get their stops. Everybody's, the defense is starting to play now, but the offense just didn't come up to gear at the right time. So I mean, they came out at the right time, but it's just at the time that we were panicking a little bit, it was starting to get a little concerning.
His highest grade player for them was edge defender Arden Walker with an 83.9 grade. Jordan Seaton, my guy, with a 77.3 grade. Unreal year for him as a true freshman left tackle for them. DJ McKinney, the cornerback, 77.2. Nikhil Green, also 77.2. And Levante Bentley, also a 77.2 for the Buffaloes. And Shorter Sanders with a 65.9 grade. All right, let's go over to Texas Tech with their highest graded players in this law.
I wonder if we have we don't have what's his name? What was the freshman player? What was his name on the snap? The center?
Cash Cleveland.
Yeah, we don't have his numbers, but Cash Cleveland give him some life. So we had 2 freshman players. We had 2 freshman players on that line, 2 true freshman players on that line.
There you go.
I want to say this about Cash Cleveland. I don't know if you guys saw some of the film on Cash Cleveland. That man was communicating better than what was the previous center? His name, I forget.
Zelinkus.
Zelinkus. The way he communicated, if you're looking at the film, that Cash Cleveland, when he got the chance, he did not let that go because he was communicating with that line like it was his. He was the general of that offensive line. And I'm going to give him his ups for that.
Yeah, I mean, so he has leadership qualities. And that's the thing about like certain players. You know who also communicates? Nikhil Green communicates a lot. Bentley was there last year, but I don't know that he was a communicator last year. He's like a quieter. He's more quiet of a leader. He's a quieter leader. But Nikhil Green is a general. He's a field general who's going to let people know, hey, you do this, you do that. And I think that's once they noticed that, that's why he got up in that starting lineup. They didn't know him at first, but once they started him, you notice that all of a sudden, I don't know, they were playing. I forget the guy's name. The guy that redshirted. I forget his name. Not Trevor Woods, the other guy. But after
You're talking about Brown.
Jeremiah Brown?
Yeah.
Was it?
He redshirted.
Right. So I don't know if they were just trying things out, but I thought they were bringing the Cahill Grant in to take over, but apparently it didn't work out that way.
Loss. Linebacker Jacob Rodriguez, 73.9. Chapman Lewis, the safety, 78.2. Caleb Rogers, the offensive tackle, 69.4. Braylon Rigsby, the D tackle, at 68.4. Marion Horn, the corner, 68.1. And Baron Morton, 62.7, the quarterback for the Red Raiders. Dawn, for you, what was the full story?
If you own a home within 90 minutes of Ronkonkoma and you're still paying an electric bill, you could be missing out on a new program that's giving homeowners over
All right, so this game started out pretty rough for Colorado, didn't it? They were down 13-0 early. They couldn't find anything on offense. They were some things in coverage. They were kind of, as I've been talking about all year, trying to figure out the play calling mix and how much man coverage do we run or zone coverage, whatever. You know, the one reason it felt like even through that deficit, they were going to be okay? Because what is the thing, one of the two things, and you know where I'm going with this, what are the two things that I keep saying are going to win this Big 12?
Stop the run and quarterback.
And that first one, you got to stop the run in this Big 12 with so many dynamic run games. And they, for the most part, did that with Taj Brooks, especially early in the game. First 3 quarters of this.
So let's talk about that. That's one thing that I wanted to talk about. Even through all my nervousness and through all my jitters and as a fan, but as somebody who analyzes the games and analyzes the players, Colorado can the fans sit back and relax a little bit because Colorado is or has proven that they're a decent team that can stop the run. Is that something that we can say, okay, you know what? You may still have PTSD from last year and then from Nebraska, but Colorado is solid. They can stop the run. And then we have on the field is always going to be, we have the better quarterback. Is that a thing that I can just hang my hat on? And
so
we can start with
unfortunately.
Okay, DC, you go first, and then we'll go down the line.
All right. So unfortunately, I have to put the dang on butter back on. I hate it too.
That's fine. I want to be unbiased.
All right. So I think that they got better against the run, but I also see, like, when you look at the PFFs from Texas Tech, those are C minuses, D's, and high F's from the players. So you have to look at the fact of, am I doing this against great, phenomenal, elite talent? Am I doing this against, upper echelon talent, or am I doing this against average talent? That says average.